Happy New Year, Faxx family. It's your boy Ant, GodMade32 on Instagram, and today, from one of my favorite movie reviewers on YouTube, Jeremy Jahns, we're reacting to the best movies of 2023. We're gonna react to his movies, where he slots them. Let's see if we agree with all of his movies, what we would change around, and what we would slide in and take out. And thank you so much for an amazing 2023. Going into 2024, more videos, more content. Hopefully we get remonetized, but we're gonna keep it pushing. And if you like what we're doing here, please remember to do the YouTube things. Like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to be notified when we upload new videos, go ahead and click that little bell icon. Now without any further ado, let's
the year's coming to an end and the time has come. That video that tells you the movies I enjoyed most this year. That yearly reminder to my viewers and subscribers exactly who it is they watch. Have I watched every movie in 2023? Not even close.
Me neither, bud. I ain't watched a lot of them joints, but we gonna see what you talking about. And I agree with most of what you're saying already. Back to it.
Every movie in any given year? Absolutely not. But I do a top 10 list nonetheless because I cannot have and you all think I'm some sort of professional. Yes, there were even a couple movies that came out on Christmas Eve and Christmas. And I was really stressing out about it. I was like, okay, on Christmas Eve, maybe I can dip out early on visiting my brother, then watch a movie and do a video on that and work on.
Yeah, he's talking about the whole Christmas thing. I ain't gonna lie to y'all, man. I took that whole time off, man. I was getting my life together, doing family things, Christmas shopping, all that type of stuff. So like, go easy on me.
Even then on Christmas, I can dip out on family early and then watch another movie and then work on Christmas. I was like, nope, it's done. I'm going to enjoy family time on Christmas Eve and Christmas. Then I'm going to do my top 10 video and I'm going to send 2023 packing. All right, enough of this build-up bullshit. You know what to expect from my top 10 videos? We've been at this long enough, since there are few things worse than someone who prattles on too much in the build-up of their video.
I try to keep my build-ups about 45 seconds to a minute. It'll be over a minute. But I be trying to keep them short.
Let's get to it. My list of my top 10 favorite movies I watched in 2023. Number 10. Number 10's difficult because I found 9 movies I was comfortable with being on this top 10 list. The 10th, I couldn't find a movie I really felt was... I didn't feel like it was top 10. So whatever, The Abyss re-release. Number 10. I'm actually not fucking with you today. A movie that was released in 1989 that was re-released in theaters for one showing on one day. It's number 10 on my top 10 list.
Listen, man, I'm taking notes. This joint is not on my top 10. Shout out to The Abyss. Great movie. But no.
Number 9. Next up, Still. It gave me the man tears, I'm not gonna lie. Still is a documentary about Michael J. Fox, his life, his career, his Parkinson's, how he's dealt with that. Because we've all heard stories about Michael J. Fox, the production of Back to the Future, his life when he started hiding his Parkinson's. It's a different thing to hear him actually talk about it. He seems like a likable dude who happened to find success in that pit of vipers known as Hollywood,
Yeah, I've heard about Still. I seen it advertised, never got around to watching it. It's probably a good watch, as he's saying, if you have any type of nostalgia for Michael J. Fox for the Back to the Future franchise and why he disappeared from the spotlight. I think this is a good thing I think this is a great thing to go watch, especially if you just want to find out about what Parkinson's does from a person who's going through it themselves. You understand what I'm saying? Let's do it.
Number 8. Next up, comic book movie fatigue is not a thing because The Killer was great. It's actually based on a comic book. A David Fincher film starring Michael Fassbender about an assassin. I mean, that just hooked me right there. You know the thing I love about this movie is it feels like a film that's at the beginning of a filmmaker's career. This movie kind of had the vibe of a young, up-and-coming director from the early 2000s. The director that would have a bright future, that film that would be a cult classic. It had that vibe.
Again, seen this film advertised so many times on Netflix, clicked on it when it just premiered, fell asleep halfway through it, so like I don't have anything major to say. And because I fell asleep, I don't know if it's because the movie was bad or because it was mad late, but like I don't feel comfortable putting that in my top 10. So another blank spot.
Number 7. Next up, horror movie of the year for me, absolutely, Talk to Me. There's a part of me that tries to be conscious of the fact that part of the story of the movie production itself and the team who made it is part of what grips me here. YouTubers making a horror movie that actually ended up being good, I can't help but root for that. Fact is, though, the movie was actually good. Not just good, but it was great.
Okay, listen. Everything about Talk to Me says I was supposed to watch it. I didn't watch it, but it's on the list, and right now it's currently number 2 on the poll for horror movies to watch. So I think that'll be coming up really soon on the channel. Again, I can't really put it there, but because I was so excited to watch it when it came out and it was so good, I'm comfortable with putting it at number 7 for right now. But stay tuned for further reviews. You know what I mean? It will come around probably in like the next 3 to 6 weeks. Keep an eye out, like and subscribe, all that good stuff. Next.
Number 6. Next up, well, another monologue about comic book movie fatigue not being a thing because Across the Spider-Verse was also great.
Oh,
These
for
Spider-Verse
sure.
movies are fantastic. It's also pretty refreshing to see a multiverse movie in a world of a lot of multiverse movies. Use that multiverse premise in a way that actually serves the plot rather than just being like, hey, nostalgia bait, what can we cram in here? It does have cameos for the sake of people being able to be like, oh, yeah, I get that reference. But it was treated as icing on the cake rather than trying to be the whole cake.
Okay, well, Spider-Verse is definitely on my list. I think it's a little bit higher than number 6 for me, but we're going to keep this rocking for right now, and we're going to keep number 6 blank with Spider-Verse as a question mark for higher than 6. Next!
Number 5. Next up, Killers of the Flower Moon. When I heard Martin Scorsese was doing a film in 2023, I was like, all right, I'm in. When I heard the premise, I was like, that sounds dark and fucked up. This was an epic, an odyssey, a tragedy.
Okay, so Killers of the Flower Moon, amazing movie. It looks and it was made with so much care and accuracy to the time. Shout out Martin Scorsese. Shout out to the natives who lent their story and made it as accurate as possible from their side and not just, you know what I mean, the white man's side and shit like that. But I fell asleep 3/4 of the way through it. Yo, it was 3.5 hours, man. And while there was a lot of action going on, Scorsese makes different kinds of films, and trust me, I wasn't ready for that.
Number 4. In a world where recency bias is absolutely a thing, another thing you gotta be conscious of when making these lists, my answer to the Iron Claw is it absolutely deserves to be on this list. This is a heartfelt story, a heart-wrenching story. It's tough to watch, but I don't mind saying it's a necessary watch. The thing I appreciate about movies like this is when they revolve around a sport, but you don't have to be a fan of the sport.
Heard a lot of great things about Iron Claw. Heard Zac Efron put on an amazing performance and changed his body so much for that. Still ain't watched that joint though. I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't get around to it. I'm a fan of wrestling. Wasn't trying to watch a movie about wrestlers at that time and stuff like that. I had a lot of stuff going on this year, man. That's my bad. I will do better this year. It's 2024. Next.
Number 3. Oppenheimer had to be on this list when I heard Christopher Nolan's making a movie about J. Robert Oppenheimer. I feel like the feeling was unanimous, right? That just sounds like why we go to movies. Turns out, when you watch the movie, it is, in and of itself, a celebration of cinema. The
Right.
script has flipped. It used to be, this movie has so many CGI shots. That's how great it is. Now it's, this movie has no CGI shots. Even the explosion's practical. That's how great it is.
Hey, just adding on to what he says, Oppenheimer deserves his place as number 3. If you go back and watch my reactions, I was super excited about Oppenheimer before I even realized that Robert Downey Jr. was in there. It was just like actors and actors and actors and actors that we've all come to love, and that just turned out to be a night at the movies for me to where like I totally blanked out. It was that good, you feel what I'm saying? So like, yeah, I'm slating that at number 3 right now with a little bit of a question mark because I want to see what he got to at 1. Next.
Number 2. As it stands right now, number 2, Godzilla -1. For longtime Godzilla fans, this is probably number 1. And you would be right to say so. But for me, I expected nothing out of Godzilla -1. Godzilla never gripped me. It's just one of those things I missed out on growing up. Then the Americanized Godzilla Kong movies, they've come out and I'm like, okay, well.
Well, this is going to be my controversial take. I never liked the old Godzilla movies like that. They wanted me to be scared of these men in suits, and I couldn't get scared of the men in suits. With that being said, I was still the kid that really loved Power Rangers. So for some reason, kaijus was close to my heart, but at the same time, I wasn't scared of them. Wanted to whoop ass. So when I heard Godzilla -1 was coming along from the people over in Japan, it hit me kind of like lackluster, you know what I mean? Because there was another Godzilla movie that came out around the same time that like King of the Monsters was coming out, and that movie was kind of like, it wasn't great. But with all that being said, I do like the American Godzilla movies. Controversial as that might be, Godzilla, Kong, Skull Island, King of the Monsters, all of that joint. I want another movie right now. I'm watching Monarch every week right now, you feel what I'm saying? So like I'm in there.
A few moments later.
Long story short, when I seen Godzilla -1 and everybody decided to watch it as a kickback that I was at, I was not prepared for what this movie was. This movie was terrifying in so many different ways. This Godzilla lost all screws and scruples and all of that shit. Like, listen, even the things that don't look great or like make you look at it a little bit too hard, just wait. It's gonna make sense later. Like, Godzilla started out as a mutant squishy tadpole, and I'm just like, yo, what is this? But it looks gross and awesome. And the devastation. Next.
Number one. And number one, objectively speaking, is probably not better than the previous three that I listed, but I really love me a good ending to a story. So John Wick Chapter 4. John Wick is proof that you can make a new original IP that's not based off of a comic book and have it be a modern classic. The action sequence is clean, the gun love out of control. You know, the thing I have loved about these John Wick movies up through 4 is it hasn't felt like copy and paste. You can only do so many different things when it comes to fighting and shootouts, but every installment feels fresh. It feels different than the previous ones. There's that top-down scene, like I said in my review, it reminded me of Hotline Miami.
Now, I let that run a little bit longer because I do agree with everything that he's saying. And I was getting a little bit hyped just now, just like thinking about all of the nonsense and madness that happened throughout the John Wick series. Greatness. You know what I mean? Shout out to Keanu Reeves. Hell of a comeback. We're not going to mention Matrix 4. We're just going to act like that ain't happened. But all the John Wicks, ridiculous. Back to being an action star, old as hell, taking hits from cars, flipping, gun fool. You know what I mean? Greatness. I wouldn't put it at number one though. It's up there for me. But let's hear what his conclusion is, then I'll come back with my top 10 list to round this all off.
In a world where action movies are a dime a dozen, John Wick came along and just, it gave me something that felt new. John Wick Chapter 4 kept that torch going. It's not just action. It's action with a very specific style. It's stylish, it's classy, slick suits, cool weaponry. And again, I appreciate a story that has the guts to end. So many stories just keep going until they fizzle into obscurity. They limp along until no one cares anymore and it just becomes sad. John Wick Chapter 4, I felt, was a great ending to John Wick's story. I've heard rumors about a 5. I don't see how you do a Chapter 5 without ruining John Wick Chapter 4. So don't do that. It is nearly 3 hours of violent action movie extravaganza. What can I say? It left me fulfilled. Which is why John Wick Chapter 4, that's number one in 2023 for me. So that concludes my list of my top 10 favorite movies of 2023. Thank you all for watching this video. And thank you all once again for yet another year of me doing this.
And thank you, Jeremy. And thank you guys for watching. If you guys have stuck around for this long, I appreciate you so much. It's been an amazing year. But we're not done just quite yet. My top 10. And at number 10, we have Barbie. Amazing movie, super fun. I really liked it. Did a lot of good things for the girlies out there. And I can't lie, Margot Robbie killed it in the role. Super funny from everybody else. And it had like a little bit of serious undertone on there where everybody has to laugh at themselves at some point in that movie. Number 9 for me, it's The Flash. I know what you're gonna say. I don't care. The CGI was bad, but the story was amazing. I got so many DC characters in there. Let me have this. Number 8, Godzilla -1. really like this movie. I really, really like this movie. It got me back into Japanese Godzilla and made him so scary again. Number 7 is Oppenheimer. I really like Oppenheimer, man. I really, really like this movie. It was a solid movie, amazing production. It's a bit on the long side, but so many amazing acting moments in this movie, and it's telling such an important story about such an important time in history. Go check it out if you ain't seen it. Number 6, Creed 3. So many things have happened with Jonathan Majors over the past several months that we really forgot that this man was really on the top of the world with 2 big budget films in theaters at the same time with Ant-Man Quantumania and Creed 3, and he crushed it. And regardless of how the movies turned out around him, he crushed it in both of those roles. And Michael B. Jordan, solid outing as a director, like his anime influences. It was really good. Check it out. Number 5, Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I don't know what else to say, man. It's the best James Gunn Guardians movie. It's one of the best movies in Phase 4. And it, with Black Panther, really tried to right the ship of what was going on with Phase 4 at that time. Number 4 and 5 was mad tricky, man. I think John Wick really stood out by himself because it wasn't a franchise in an already initiated franchise. This was a thing by itself that really shouldn't have worked, but it worked and kept working, and we got the 4 movies, and it got really ridiculous and bombastic, but so awesome at the same time. And I think we got a great ending towards it, and I really like it. Number 3, dun 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 dun. Y'all forgot about Super Mario Bros, man. I don't know how this is not in this top 10. This was an amazing movie of 2023. Yeah, this really knocked my socks off, man, and really put video game movies back on the map in all the right ways, and ran where Detective Pikachu and the Sonic movie walked and jogged respectfully. You feel what I'm saying? Number 2, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Really, really, really loved this movie, man. This movie was awesome. It was an amazing part 2, but this movie stood on its own, and it did not feel like we needed a third part to it. But at the same time, with that great cliffhanger, we want it. I want it. Head to toe, the animators did their job, voice actors did their job, the story, the script, amazing all across the board, and I can't wait for them to cap off the franchise with that 3rd movie. And at number 1, y'all know, if I was gonna put any movie at number 1, any movie, had to be a horror movie. And what amazing horror movie came out last year? Evil Dead Rise. Go watch that, man. Go watch that, man. Go watch that, man. And then come back to the channel and watch our reaction. Like, Evil Dead Rise was an amazing ride from start to finish. Heart pounding, great story, sad story, like gripping. It made you so attached to the characters, and then ripped the rug from under you. It like gave you so many things. It made you laugh, but at the same time, it wasn't trying to be funny. And it was so terrible without trying to be mean. But when it tried to be mean, that joint was mean as hell. Loved it so much, man. Loved it so much. And yeah, guys, that was my wrap up for the movies I loved in 2023. Thanks for Jeremy Jahns for giving us his thoughts on this. Jump down in the comments, let me know what you thought about his list. Let me know what you thought about my list. And put your list in the comments as well, man. I want to know what your favorite movies are. Did I miss anything? Did I not speak out on anything? Like, did anything like slip my mind or his mind? Or what did you think about his list? Because a lot of those movies like threw me off. So like, did you watch any of those movies in depth, or did you fall asleep like I did? But yeah, guys, if you like what we're doing here, please remember to like and subscribe. It helps us way more than you know, and it helps us beat the YouTube algorithm. And if you want to be notified when we upload new videos, go ahead and click that little bell icon. Thank you. Can't wait to see what 2024 got in store for us. We out.